Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to Formula Virtual Racing. We are here this evening for the return to the Italian Grand Prix, one of the most decorated races in motorsport. We are here at the Autodromo di Nazionale Monza for what should be an absolute cracker FVR sprint weekend once again. And one of the most decorated members of Formula Virtual Racing history is to my left-hand side. Brendan, how are you doing? He's not on my left-hand side. Don't know why I've said that. Brendan, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Here for it's pretty much the halfway point of the season now. In terms of golf terms, you're just about finished the front nine. So,
Brendan really getting
terms.
into Masters fever. He's getting all the golf references. I love a bit of this, but yeah. We are getting ready to head on to the back nine here in Monza this evening. Should be a very interesting race indeed. And of course, remember, we do have FVR Racing Sprint action coming up to your screen. So thank you very much for joining the stream. If you are with us, let me know if all audio stuff is okay, because as you've all learned over these past few seasons, I am in fact an imbecile. It's going to be Tim Den Hyer who gets qualifying underway then for the Italian Grand Prix. Qualifying for last season's Italian Grand Prix was between Tyler Davison and Luke Davies, and it was separated by one single gear change, or there or thereabouts. But let's hope it is equally as close for this evening. It's Tim Den Hyer who gets ready to get us underway, heading in towards the Varante del Rettifilo, turn number 1 and 2, of course, here. It's technically turn number 1, according to my track map. It isn't, because it's 2 corners, and I think everyone can tell, but a corner where overtakes are certainly possible, switchbacks possible, just like the one Kyle Albert did back in Season 3 on Ismail. That was a very exciting move indeed. Hopefully we can see some manoeuvres like that this evening. But Den Hyer 26.4 in the first sector. Not the quickest first sector we'll see this evening. And you can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens here today. I think a lot of the drivers here don't like this track, so it should add to the potential for a bit of a mixed up final order. Although, mind you, we have a sprint race, so we could be getting mixed up and then mixed up again, so who knows?
Yeah, last season at Monza, it was quite a messy sprint race. We had a couple of front runners heading round. It's all dry for all 3 sessions, so that is, of course, qualifying, the FVR Sprint, and the main Grand Prix. That is confirmed by the stream of Luke Davies. Den Hyer gets us underway with a 20.6 here in qualifying. That's the first lap for everyone to beat. Next man across the line to beat it is not going to be Aaron McFall. It's going to be the new Alpine of Yathan Panguru. He is just starting a qualifying lap. It's an AlphaTauri of Jordi Feenstra making a debut here this evening. He's the next man across the line. It is then the McLaren of Mr. Lightning Luke Davies, the championship leader. He invalidated his first attempt. What about Adrian Teicher? Can he get a lap on the board? Bastilli goes to second, Teicher goes to third. That's very close between the 2 Canadians. Mercedes across the line next. That is Gobadi, just getting proceedings underway for the Mercedes team. It's then Fidel Fabian who goes to third. He beats Adrian Teicher. Sam Crumpton going to be next across the line, heading through the Curva Alboreto, or the Curva Parabolica as it's more famously known as. Here comes Sam Crumpton across the line. That's going to be provisional pole position. The first man into the 19s, 1:19.9. Aaron McFall gets his qualifying underway. Here comes Dara Smith to the line. He's going to absolute knock that lap from Sam Crumpton off, but Jake Marsh is going to go one better. That's a 1:19.3. There goes Morris Strumer, who goes to 14th position. There goes the Scotsman Lewis McWilliam, the man who's taken the last 2 race wins in a row in both Monaco and Austria. He goes to the top with a 1:19.165. Very decent lap from the Scotsman.
Well, let's see now what Luke can put in response to that. His championship lead is sizable enough still. McWilliam, despite winning the last 2 races, still has a good bit to catch up. So that can tell you how up and down the season's really been. And we now see Luke Davies. Is he able to keep up the consistency he's had? He's up to 4th.
It's 4th, not bad. That is not bad. Remember, Jake Marsh is quite good around here. The problem with Jake is he's not had good races around here, but qualifying's always been decent. Qualified 2nd in one race here in Monza. He didn't make the first corner.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's gone off the circuit. That is an Alpine. Was it Aaron McFall? No, it might have been a Williams.
No, I think that was an AlphaTauri that went off.
Could have been an AlphaTauri, actually, yeah.
Or
I think that could have been... no, it wasn't Jordi. Was it Tyler Pistilli? No. Oh well, it was a car. That's all you need to know. Aaron McFall goes to 7th position, so a decent run there from Aaron. 120.5. Aaron has not touched the game since Portugal. So 7th is not bad for a man who literally has not actually played the game. So he goes to 4th. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is getting ready to start a lap, so no success in Mercedes in the opening run. Santiago is across the start-finish line. The Portugueseman looking to get a good points finish here on a reserve appearance. It's the second Ferrari of Glennon then heading through the Curva Parabolica. Ferrari would love a home win here in Formula Virtual Racing. Don't think they've ever done it before. Can't remember if there's ever been an Italian winner or an Italian car winning here in Monza. Actually, no, AlphaTauri have had a race win before, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't remember correctly, because now that I think of it, the only iconic thing with AlphaTauri here in Monza was them both killing each other. That was Jack Redman and Lucas Faust, who both piled into the side of each other, heading through the Varante della Roggia. That was on a safety car restart. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, though, heading through Lesmo number 2, and getting on his merry way down the back straight under the famous and iconic Monza banking. The Mercedes would love a good finish after what was a slightly disappointing Austrian Grand Prix.
Yeah, Austrian Grand Prix last week, obviously, McWilliam did take a good win. I have to say, with some of the results there last week, like Adrian Taishi finishing in, I believe, the 6th. And although, see here again this week, maybe qualifying performance isn't quite up there to maybe what I'd be looking for. However, even still, last week you had, I said Adrian 6th, which Liam Huisman actually scored his first point of the season. So whether this is a start or something for him or not, or you might want to get going somewhere, because at the moment he's not set a lap yet and he's in 20th.
Yeah, Liam Hausman, bottom of the order with 10 minutes to go here in Monza. We're almost halfway through qualifying already. Of course, if you are unaware, this is an FVR sprint weekend, so this qualifying will set the grid for the sprint race, as Kieran Spears has gone to 5th position. This sets qualifying for the sprint race, and then the sprint race will set the order for the main Grand Prix. There's points for the sprint as well. You can find all the information on our Instagram page, or you can check out the rule book if you want to see the different points systems. Pistilli just running his own qualifying around, as he so likes to do. Yathan Penguru, the second German on the grid here this evening, him and Morris both sporting the German flag, as that is a Williams getting out of the way for Yathan Penguru. The Alpine is looking to get a good result here in Monza. Felt his pace was quite okay heading up to this Grand Prix, so he's looking for a good result. Both him and Aaron McFall looking to score some points for Alpine. The Alpine team currently sit 10th and 11th here in qualifying. Decent run that from Yathan Penguru, but they are currently 8th in the constructors' standings with 20 points, only 15 behind Scuderia Ferrari, so they are looking to improve on that. Tim Higher improving on this lap as well. The top dogs are out for a second run, as Tim just invalidates on that lap actually, so no improvement there from him. Liam Hausman gets his qualifying underway. Hopefully McWilliam heading through the Varante del Rettifilio. Let's stay on board here with the Scotsman heading through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo number 2, just using all the track limits that he can. And heading round through there, oh, mistake from the Scotsman. He spun it round, he saved the car though, he's not hit a wall. That looked like it was heading for that arm coat barrier on the left hand side. He has saved it. A mistake from Lewis McWilliam. Jake Marsh is invalidated as well. Dara Smith also has. Luke Davies, no he's not, I thought he had, but the track map was just glitching. So maybe Luke Davies can get a lap on the board here. He's down by 0.2 of a second in the middle sector. So a lot of mistakes here in Monza qualifying so far. The Temple of Speed is throwing up a couple of surprises.
Yeah, that is for sure. Temple of Speed is behind the Temple of Surprise. And actually now is Luke Davies maybe been able to save a bit of time for the last sector, and well, he found time, but not enough to improve. So
No, Davies stays fourth. No improvement there for Luke Davies. He will have to go again. Darragh Smith goes again. Jake Marsh not improving in the first sector. Lewis McWilliam heading through the Varante del Rettifilio. He didn't head into the pit lane for a fresh set of boots. He carries on. Sam Crumpton not improving as well. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on an outlap. Glennon's gone 9th, so decent performance there from the second Ferrari to go 9th so far in qualifying. That's not a bad lap at all at 1.1 off in that ferocious qualifying lap from Lewis McWilliam. Here comes Aaron McFall heading to the start-finish line. What can the Alpine produce here? Just keeps the car in a straight line. There's no improvement there for Aaron. Pistilli narrowly down in the first sector. Matthew Stotts as well. Keep an eye on him. And Avesta go badly. Oh, round he goes through the Ascari chicane. Avesta is not having a good time of things so far here in qualifying. And Liam Houseman neither. He's found the gravel.
yeah, Housen didn't find it. The improvements was qualifying.
And Lewis has made a mistake again
Oh,
through the Ascari chicane. Darragh Smith is improving. He is going to catch up to the Red Bull now. Remember, of course, Lewis McWilliam was involved in an incident in qualifying this time last season in Monza, where he hit Luke Davies before Luke started what was going to be the pole lap. Here comes Darragh Smith across the line. He jumps onto the front row of the grid, beating Jake Marsh. Oh, Liam Houseman is out of qualifying and will start the FVR sprint here in Monza from last position as Santiago goes round as well. There goes the Williams. As is there someone else off with Liam Houseman? I think there is. I think that's an Alpine of Aaron. No, I think Aaron was actually... Aaron was sat there looking at Liam, wasn't he?
I'm just going to ask a question. Sam McFall taking a leave out of the
Oh, Jurgensmeyer! My goodness me. Clatters into the wall. Don't know how that car has survived. Made of titanium.
Oh, yeah. Well, my main question is Aaron McFall taking a leaf out of the Tyler Facility book of how to do qualifying by just doing a bunch of laps and then doing your main hot lap right at the end?
Yes. Yes, he is, because he hasn't practiced.
Well,
Aaron, I'm going to cut off from that because you're completely cutting there, number one, having no respect for track limits at all. Darragh Smith trundles into the pit lane. These guys are going to get ready for their final run in qualifying.
Oh dear.
There's an from Brendan, but I don't know for what.
Yeah, I think you know what we said a few seconds ago.
Oh, so just Aaron obliterating the corners.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shocker. Aaron having no respect for the rules. No, Aaron's a good guy. But unfortunately, Aaron doesn't have patience.
It's happening again.
Oh my goodness me. We're on board with him. I'm going to take a look at the race briefing and see, does it say anywhere?
I'm sure there's be a regulation somewhere.
Yeah, there has to be a regulation somewhere. I don't think it's there. It should be there, but I don't think it is.
Let me see briefing.
Oh well, but, I'm going to have a look at the Formula Virtual Racing rules and regulations. But
There's one on Nando's when you need them.
Yeah, Juan, if you're in the stream chat, let us know if this is a rule, because you probably know it off by heart. We have incident reporting, penalty removal, race format, racing rules. Crossing the pit lane is not permitted. That's 7.2. Purposely taking out another driver. Drivers are not allowed to purposely crash or disqualify themselves during a qualifying or race session. That's also known as the legend starting from the back rule. No, there's
Surely this would be something like, no, you can't do this.
Aaron is an interesting individual, which is something you've discovered this season on multiple occasions in Formula Virtual Racing, so we're just going to let Aaron do his thing. As, it didn't affect anyone, but I think there may be a couple of gardeners here in the Autodromo Nazionale Monza that will be saying, how dare you? But Lewis McWilliam keeps his trend continuing on coming out of the pit lane very early to start his final laps in qualifying. The Scotsman is starting to get known for being the ultimate under pressure qualifier here in Formula Virtual Racing. He's pulled laps out of the bag in Singapore, in Monaco, in Austria, in about everywhere. But can he produce another special lap around the 5.793 kilometre temple of speed? His first challenge is the Varante del Retifilio. There's a lot of traffic, however, that's going to have to yield from. All does very respectfully, so good sportsmanship there. McWilliam heading through 1 and 2, nicely through there. The car, very unsettled on traction on the exit. He's just about got the throttle pinned down, but that was a little bit squirrely on the exit. May have lost him a little bit of time heading through the Curva Grande, and then in towards the Varante del Regia, or Della Roggia, I should say, apologies. He gets it nicely through there and towards Lesmo 1, the right-hander, and then the second right-hander, the sister corner of Lesmo number 2. You're aiming for cutting that inside as much as you can and then aiming for the outside of the track limits. That's where McWilliam had a spin. The car still really unsettled through there here in the later stages of qualifying. It's starting to get into the dusk phases here in the Italian sunset, but Lewis McWilliam is still flying through the Ascari chicane. He is improving, so he would improve that banker lap, which is currently a 1:19.165, heading in towards the Curva Parabolica, or the Curva Alboreto. Can McWilliam produce another magical hot lap? It's not been a bad run at all, but what is this final sector going to look like on the timing screens? 1:19 flat. He's pushed the benchmark way out of sight for potentially everybody else here on the grid. It's an excellent lap once again from the double champion. Can Luke Davies respond with another Monza moment, just like he had last season? Took pole position in a very similar situation last season, except it is a much greater gap that he has to close down. The one to Tyler Davison was impressive. This would be the ultimate if he could do it. It's a very good middle sector, improving by almost 0.2 of a second. Needs to push, heading through this Ascari chicane. No lifting now. It is flat out almost to the final corner. Braking and accelerating out of here. This is where he took pole position last season. He had a great run through here. What's the run like through the Curva Parabolica this time? Heading towards the start-finish line. The championship leader, can he dethrone Lewis McWilliam? He gets it on the front row, to be fair to him. Not a bad job at all. Dara Smith and Jake Marsh just getting on their merry way now. Sam Crumpton, 53 flat in the middle sector, although he is just getting ready to start a lap. Morris Strumer improving on his run. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer has invalidated. Glennon not getting a run in, or actually just starting a run. Aaron McFall goes up to 6th position. Very decent run by Aaron McFall. Jake Marsh is done. He's invalidated here in qualifying. What can Dara Smith do here for Haas? What's this middle sector going to look like? Needs to find about 0.3 of a second if he wants to beat Lewis McWilliam. The cars are pushing through this sector. It's a 52.5. He's very close to it. This needs to be a perfect final sector from Dara Smith. He passes a stranded Mercedes on the right hand side. The Irishman currently beating Lewis in the championship, but if he could beat Lewis in qualifying, that would be an unbelievable achievement. Heading through the final corner, the Irishman is pushing. This is a very good lap from the Haas, but is it good enough across the line? No, it isn't. He narrowly misses out on pole position. Is anyone going to be able to dethrone the Scotsman at a track where he's not so confident? Sam Crumpton improving in the first. Is he improving in the second? Was on provisional pole for a time. He is not improving in the second sector. That's got to be it from Sam Crumpton. What about Adrian Taisha? Is there a magical moment for the Canadian? No, there isn't, as he's invalidated. What about Lewis's old teammate Tyler Pistilli? Can he put that AlphaTauri up to race winning contention for another time? Avestico Bardi, I believe he's retired from the session. Him and Liam Houseman both not getting times on the board. Here comes Tyler Pistilli rounding the final corner, potentially with a distance toe from the Alfa Romeo in front. 117, 118. No, it's not going to be pole position. Lewis McWilliam is on pole once again in Formula Virtual Racing. Wasn't that an exciting end to qualifying?
Very much so. And well, it's now left us with the top 3 in the championship in reverse order for your top 3 today. So, it's all getting very interesting now.
This could be a very exciting run to turn number 1 for the FVR sprint, but it is Lewis McWilliam who will start on pole position, followed by Dara Smith in second. Luke Davies in third. Jake Marsh qualifying fourth, not getting a final run in. Kieran Spears qualifies in fifth. Aaron McFall up in 6th, decent run from him, with Tim Denhire in 7th. Sam Crumpton starts 8th, followed by Morris Strumer in 9th. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer then will start 10th. Yathan Penguru in 11th, followed by Glennon in 12th. It's then Tyler Pastilli, Matthew Stotts, Fidel Fabian, Adrian Taisha, Jordi Feenstra, and then Santiago Arujo, Avesta Gobadi and Liam Houseman round out the final 3 positions. Folks, we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, the circuit that is located to the north of Milan. It has hosted every Italian Grand Prix since 1949, except in 1980, where Imola took the honours. The circuit has 11 corners, 4 to the left and 7 to the right, with Rubens Barrichello still holding the track record. We head back to the on-track action here for the Formula Virtual Racing Sprint, the second of 3 this season. And as you can see on your left-hand side of your screen, all but 2 gone for the mediums. That is Mr. Risky McFall in 6th position and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in 10th, going for the softs. Brendan, FVR Sprint, usually very exciting, but who wins this one?
I suppose you can't really judge before turn 1, can you? Because DOG Monza turn 1 is one of them places where you could actually think of all the permutations that could happen. Basically, you've 20 guys and you have to try. There's so many different combinations, actually impossible to think of. But realistic, ones that probably are going to go on the most is one of these 3 lead turn 1. And whether which one of these.
Mind games here from Dara Smith as well, going up alongside Lewis McWilliam on the formation lap. The mind games well and truly underway potentially between these two. I don't know. I can just sense that something may kick off here in Monza. I said it to you during the interval as well, Brendan. It would be very interesting if these 3 all went clattering into each other in turn number 1. I can just get that smell that something may happen here that may be quite controversial or dramatic. Monza's known for a bit of controversy, no matter what the series.
Lewis is qualified.
Yeah, I think that's just for a grid slot thing, though.
It'll impact it, though.
Yeah, it will. He hasn't got an ideal launch into turn number 1. Aaron getting disqualified as well. Not surprised. It's Aaron. He's probably done something. But Liam Houseman will be the one to line us up on the grid here in Monza. You can see him just inching into his grid slot. But it's going to be Lewis McWilliam who leads off the pole. 4, 5, red lights. And we go racing in Monza. Just look at Kieran Spears' grid position, but it's a great start from Jake Marsh and Ford.
Luke
Davies has not got a great start here, but Aaron McFall's got an absolute launch on the soft tyres, heading in towards 1 and 2 for the first time. Kieran Spears looking to try hang it around the outside of Jake Marsh. Davies has held on for dear life. Sam Crumpton and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer getting a good launch as well. Jurgensmeyer the better, of course, being on those soft compound tyres. McWilliam gets away cleanly, as does Dara Smith. Can't really say the same for a lot in the background. Look at Aaron McFall all over the grass trying to gain spots. He'll try anything for an extra position. It's why we do love Aaron. Morris Strumer and Sam Crumpton. Contact. Penguru slides through the Alpine up to 9th here. Adrian Taisha as well. Yellow flags in the background. It's Fidel Fabian who's involved in it, as well as Jordi Feenstra who's gone round in the Alpha Tauri. Adrian Taisha still trying to work his way up. He's up 5 spots to 11th. A great race start for the Canadian. Jurgensmeyer working his way around the outside of Denhire, and Aaron McFall doing the same. game. The two guys on the soft tyres, the ones making the moves here in the early phases. Jake Marsh looking to pressure Luke Davies as well. The current championship leader sits third here in the opening lap in Monza. Not as chaotic as we expected, unless your name is Tim Dunhire, who's gone round. That's unfortunate for Tim. He got a good launch, but didn't quite continue that good run of form throughout the opening lap. The biggest gainer in the opening lap here in Monza, that's Adrian Teicher, who's up to 10th. But remember, the top 8 only score points here in an FVR sprint, so Adrian's got to get a couple more positions. He's actually lost a couple of positions heading through the the Curva Parabolica. Lewis, though, my goodness me, does he have a bit between his teeth. He's gone here, leading by a second in the FVR sprint. Here's Glennon and Pistilli. Has Pistilli got it wrong, or is Pistilli going to defend? Oh, bit of contact between the two Italian cars. Even more contact, feisty between the home nations. But Glenn not able to attack back Pistilli, just sitting behind Teicher up the inside of his former teammate, and there's contact between the two. Oh, Teicher's done well to hold it, but Morris Stroomer's hit the back. And Morris, unfortunately, not as lucky, and he's now facing the wrong way, recovers behind Fidel Fabian. Very interesting open couple of laps here in the FVR sprint.
Indeed, very interesting. And it's just not, what I'd say, Luke Davies, he did well to his position there. However, he had to brake real late there, and probably if he'd broken any later, there would have been a risk of him just overshooting the corner. But now, actually looks like Lewis, he's fairly comfortable out there, although he did have a little twitch. You could just see there from the
inside of Panguru as well. Tyler Pistilli makes another spot past Yatton, not past Glennon on the same lap as well, as that's Jordy Feenstra out. That is him out of the race. One AlphaTauri gains a spot, one AlphaTauri will take a slow walk back to their pit box. Lap 3 of 9, laps ticking down very early on here. It looks like Lewis McWilliams on course for the maximum points so far this weekend. He's looking fairly comfortable. Dara Smith not really pressuring him, but the only thing here is the DRS will now be activated, and Lewis McWilliam is going to have to try defend from that. And of course, Monza being the temple of speed, its DRS plays a big part in a lot of overtakes. Sam Crumpton looking to pressure Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. The soft tyres will be very difficult to manage throughout the course of this race, as is there potentially a bit of a bug here for Liam Houseman, because he's fallen to 20th. Seems like maybe a little bit of desync for the Dutchman, but he's running, I think, ahead of Adrian Teicher in 12th position, as that is Santiago in the pit lane for a fresh set of softs, maybe pick up a bit of damage. Sam Crumpton working his way through the pack. Him and Pistilli have made contact before. They're now side by side into the Ascari chicane. Pistilli forces Sam off the track. Absolute forces Sam Crumpton off the circuit. Oh, and Sam Crumpton's been hit by Yaffa Penguru. Was slow after having to go across the corner, and the German unfortunately piles into the back of Sam. That's all potentially been caused by Tyler Pistilli, and he may be under investigation by the stewards, who he's not been happy with in recent weeks. He's had a couple of comments that have been made, not made to the media, but he's not been too happy. Maybe under investigation there, as he did give Sam a big old shoulder off the circuit.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that one again and just see what the story is with that. However, what happens after there, I think it's just a bit unlucky.
Oh yeah, that's just completely unlucky between Sam Crumpton and Yatton. Yatton, I think he expected Sam to be a little bit quicker, and now retired from the race. The thing about the sprint here is, you're going to want to carry on, because this determines where you start for the next race. There's no point giving up, because if something like that does happen, say Tim Dunhire spun early, or say Santiago got damaged, still carried on, he's got an extra spot now for the starting grid. He'll start 17th instead of 18th, might even get more. So don't really understand why Yafan Penguru has spun round, as that's an on-track crash from Tim Dunhire, who I was giving praise to for carrying on. He's crashed on the circuit, but it doesn't look like we're going to see Bernd Maylander out, because we are staying to green flag running as Tyler Pistilli gets past Jonathan Jurgensmeyer.
Well, so Ryan wants to be making rules now in case he did receive a penalty for that. However, actually, what are we going to be doing Liam Houseman now? Because technically, he's ahead of Adrian, but with all the desync, he's not going to be in the position he should be for the next race then.
Well, I think we're going to just have to see what the game does first, and see where the game starts him, because sometimes it fixes itself when he crosses the checker. But we'll wait and see. Top 4 are running very close here in Monza, and I have to say, Luke Davies looks like he could be teeing up a move on Dara Smith. Lewis looks comfortable at the front. Luke looks like he has a bit more pace than Darren Smith as he heads into the chicane.
Luke's also been using a TRS.
He has actually. It's not that much of a difference between the two. Jake Marsh, I have to say, is looking good for a podium potential. That's a yellow flag heading through that chicane. I think that could be something between Jurgens-Meyer and Pastilli, as there's no car fully stopped. They are all going again, and the green flag is being waved by the marshals. Lap 5 out of 9, the FVR sprint almost over. Honestly, this is why I love Monza, because we tick through laps like there's no tomorrow, and we just get some great action. Davies, oh my goodness me, that's a wobble through the chicane. He could be under pressure from Jake Marsh, but thankfully Luke does have that Haas right in front of him. He now goes under 10% ERS. You can see the red light flashing on the back of the McLaren. That indicates that he is regenerating battery, and it is lower than 10%. But heading down the main straight, Lewis feeling vulnerable, breaking the toe, but it's not really him that I would be worried about. Look at Luke Davies charging onto the back of Darren Smith. His two championship rivals technically outscoring him so far in this race. We'll take a look at the championship standings obviously before the end of the evening. But Luke Davies, does he... Brendan, if you were him, what are you doing? Are you attacking Darren Smith or are you just bringing home third?
Well, thing is, it's only a points difference, although you want to be careful there, mind you.
Yeah, he's Jake Marsh right behind him. Darren Smith looks like he's struggling a little bit here in this Italian Grand Prix. The McLaren right up his gearbox.
Yeah, might just not be quite feeling it. And you see McWilliam burning. I think he sensed the opportunity just to break away here to secure the win.
I think Lewis knows it's all potentially going to kick off next time we head down the main straight, because Luke is really close. That could be crucial. That could be crucial for Darren Smith, who's off the second and round, heading through the Ascari chicane. Bottle 1, bottle 2, heading through the Ascari chicane, and now he goes spinning out of the points. Glennon going to possibly pick up a points finish here in the sprint. Darren Smith still not fully going again. This is disastrous from the Haasman. Now Luke is under pressure from Jake Marsh because he doesn't have the toe to keep him there. Jake attacking the McLaren here at home for the Ferrari. Luke defends to the inside. The overspeed from the Ferrari sees Jake Marsh round. But that is crucial points lost from Darren Smith, who goes falling even more. Is he into the pit lane? He is. And he's retired. I don't know, we've another race to do. But he's retired and will start down the back. It's a double non-finish for Haas. Oh, look at this all kicking off between McFall, Pastilli and Spears. Spears looking for the both of them. McFall looking vulnerable. Pastilli defends to the inside. Aaron McFall using the grass heading into the chicane. 3 wide, 3 into 1 doesn't go. Pastilli goes across the circuit. McFall gives him a right old shove. Kieran Spears still looking up the inside heading into Lesmo 1. I think Aaron's tyres have just fallen off and he is going shoulder to shoulder with his rivals here for 4th position. What a result it would be for Aaron McFall if he was to finish 4th. Mightn't keep it after the race, Stuart, but he'll start 4th at least because there's obviously not much we can do. Spears though got to charge past the Irishman up to 4th position. Well, this could go any way really. There is still a gaggle of cars in close proximity. Jonathan Jurgens-Meyer looking to get past Aaron as well. I think Aaron's tyres are just absolutely shredded. Although, saying that, Jonathan's on the exact same tyres, but he might have managed them a little bit better heading in towards the Parabolica. Look at this, toe-to-toe, heading through one of the quicker corners here on the circuit. Jurgens-Meyer trying around the outside. Pastilli goes up the inside. This is fantastic racing. They're 3 wide heading down the main straight. It's like NASCAR heading down here. Jurgens-Meyer trying to use his NASCAR expertise to get a spot here in the slipstream shenanigans heading in towards turn number 1. Who breaks the later? Spears breaks the later. Goes around the outside. McFall going to be forced to that outside. But McFall with good traction. How does he have the good traction on the older tyres? It is really a work of art from Aaron McFall how he does it. Spears going to hang it around the long way here in the Curva Grande. Jurgens-Meyer attacking the Canadian Tyler Pastilli in the background. Spears going to keep it up the inside. McFall on the outside now in this contact between the two. The Williams in the gravel. Kieran Spears gets shoved into the gravel. That's really close racing between the two. Between the 4. And look, it's not the most unexpected result in the world.
Yeah, it's just been a bit messy there. I suppose it'll probably be looked at after the race then, so maybe there might be a little less inclined to do that when the main race comes. There's more points. Oh, and that's spinning it out.
Oh, so that's Matthew Stotts who's gone. So McLaren with a DNF. Bob Ewan's absence being missed right now by the McLaren team boss. Here comes Pastilli, just sitting behind Aaron. Bit of Bit of DRS toying here, and look at that. Aaron slows up Tyler to take the DRS. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer just goes, I'll have that, as round goes Aaron McFall. All for nothing, really. Aaron's going to spin out of the points now, which is very unfortunate. That gives Adrian Taisha a point, and the old Williams and Vibes team now running 7th and 8th. An excellent result is for Glennon and Taisha. Here comes Tyler Pistilli up the inside of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Gives him a right old shove into turn number 1. This is great racing. I am thoroughly enjoying this here in the FVR Sprint. These two are 11.5 seconds off the lead in a 9-lap race, just because how much they're battling, but they're enjoying it. I can tell by them. Jurgensmeyer looking to go back up the inside of Pistilli. His tyres must be shredded now, and no, he's going to take a sensible option and sit behind. 5th is a great starting position here in Monza, so Jurgensmeyer doesn't want to spin round, just like Spears, McFall, Smith, Denhire and Penguru have all done before.
Yeah, you want to be just careful though. It's very easy to fall into a wall as I believe someone has just done an IndyCar, so...
Oh, Vestigobadi looking to get past Morris Strumer. This is for 9th position, both with time penalties on board. But this is really decent racing there. But up the top, the Scotsman is going to take his second FVR Sprint win of the season. He wins in Monza. But Jake Marsh comes home second, Luke Davies third, Pistilli is going to come home in fourth. We were really distracted by this battle for fourth. It's all dwindled away, but that was thoroughly entertaining, and maybe sprint races are a good thing after all, Evan. As Tyler Pistilli goes to fourth, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer fifth, Kieran Spears sixth, Glennon come home seventh. Ferrari fans going to be delighted with their new hero, Adrian Taisha in eighth, Vestigobadi ninth, Morris Strumer 10th, Fidel Fabian coming home in 11th, as Aaron has spun round. I do hope Aaron's not doing... No, Aaron has a puncture. So Aaron's tyres did puncture at the end of this race. He did take a couple spins round, does another one for fun. Sam Crumpton's got to be pushing just to take this spot, as Aaron is going to lose it. So Aaron McFall will start 13th. How the mighty have fallen. He was 4th a couple of laps ago, but look, there's not much you can do about a puncture. Except maybe start of the mediums. But he does go spinning, as Darragh Smith seems to be having some internet troubles. Hopefully all can be resolved. As why every time this season do we seem to be waiting for Aaron? Oh, and Liam Houseman as well.
Oh no, we're going to be waiting the full 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait a full 2 minutes here, by the looks of things, just for Liam Houseman to finish. Gives Darragh Smith more time to join, but yeah, Liam is a little bit decent here. But Lewis McQuillan does win his second sprint of the season. He's taken both of them so far. A decent job here by Lewis McQuillan. When he said he could still win the title, he wasn't joking, was he?
Don't think you ever was, really.
No, I don't think he was. I more meant that he has the ability to do such a comeback. I think we're going to get Liam sorted out now. I think he's going to leave and join back. There we go. Yes, we are going to have the podium celebrations now for the FVR Sprint. Lewis McQuillan takes the FVR Sprint Award, formerly known as the Switch Sprint Award. Switch Racing League sponsored more awards than they have races. Aaron says, only one of my moves were dirty. I agree. I think only one was slightly dirty. I think the rest were okay. We didn't get the podium celebrations. Sorry about that, folks. I lied. I hope you can live with that. But Lewis McQuillan does take the win here. It is then Marsh, Davies, Pistilli, Jurgensmeyer, Spears, Glennon, Taisha, Gobadi, Strumer. It is then Fabian, Crumpton, McFall, Araujo. It is then Stotts, Smith, Denhire, Penguru, Feenstra, and then Liam Houseman. Unfortunately for Liam Houseman, because we don't know where he actually finished, because he was decent the entire race. But 8 points for Lewis McQuillan. The points you can see on your right hand side are the point system for the FVR Sprint. Obviously they're slightly different for the main Grand Prix now, since the new rule addition. But my oh my, wasn't that an interesting one. And you want to know the best bit? We've more action coming up for you soon. Stick around. Welcome back to Formula Virtual Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we show you the track map for the Italian Grand Prix. We had the second FVR sprint of the season, which Lewis McWilliam took in dominant fashion. But what a circuit we are here for. We are here at this evening. The track itself resides on the ground of the Royal Villa of Monza. This places it in a unique position beside the Lambro River, which is a fun fact that you didn't know you needed, but you know now. About 36 gear changes, a lap average here with the longest flat-out section, 1,520 metres. But we head back to the on-track action now on this formation lap, where Lewis McWilliam leads us round. The tyre choices for this evening, it is hards for the top four, mediums for Jonathan Jurkensmeyer, hards all the way down to Morris Strumer and Fidel Fabian. On the medium, Sam Crumpton on hards, followed by Aaron McFall on the softs, because why not? Santiago Arujo. It is then Matthew Stott, Darragh Smith on the mediums, with Tim Denhire on the hards, Yathan Penguru, Jordy Feenstra and Liam Houseman on the mediums. Brendan, I ask you once, I ask you again, who wins this one?
It's based on what we saw in the sprint, which was a decent... It is a nice enough sample to guess of the driving race pace, but I'd say William... if he avoids a few of them twitches, I'd say he'll be alright. However, Jake Marsh, it's been surprising with his paces today. We know he's quick, but usually doesn't really get to show it. However, today it seems it's really showing up. And whenever he does, he might surprise things, although, to be fair, Luke Davies, he cannot be counted out this season.
Yeah, Luke Davies cannot, and as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, Luke Davies leads the championship, ahead of Darragh Smith, Lewis McWilliam, Sam Crumpton and Borbune, who's not here this evening. But we get lined up on the grid. We are just waiting on Liam Houseman's AI. Hopefully there's no shenanigans for Liam and he can just get back in. Because honestly, everyone is secretly a Liam Houseman fan. We don't want to see Liam have any more troubles, because unfortunately it's been bad luck constantly this season for him. But we line up on the grid here in Monza. 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights. There's problems at the back for Smith and Houseman already. And we go racing here in Monza. Really good start from Kieran Spears once again, just like he got in the sprint. Jake Marsh gets another good launch here in the main Grand Prix. Luke Davies has got a howler off the line. Jonathan Jurkensmeyer with an excellent start into towards turn one. The Mercedes. Oh, hits the Ferrari. Oh no, this Morris Strumer, into the side of the championship leader, who goes spinning out of contention here in Monza. Jonathan Jurkensmeyer leads ahead of Jake Marsh here in the battle for second. Lewis McWilliam is off and running at the front. Abestigo and Fidel Fabian battling here for 6th position, both up a good few positions. Santiago Arujo is up to 8th position. No, he's not, he's round. There's a lot of cars cutting that corner to avoid the stranded Williams. Glennon down to 17th. Luke Davies works his way back up to 10th after being spun. This is chaos here in the start of the Italian Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolute chaos, but now it's a mountain decline for Luke Davies, because, well, at the moment, McWilliam is about to pretty much put a full race.
McWilliam may not lead by the end of this lap, as Jonathan Jurkensmeyer is all over the back of him. Pistilli gets past Taisha, who's up to 5th. This is chaos into turn 1. I said something might happen. Evan Holton masterclass once again. Not for Luke Davies though, he was plowed into by Morris Strumer, as Jonathan Jurkensmeyer, it doesn't lead this lap, as that's Luke Davies round again. That is, oh no, there's 4 cars off. Both Alfa Romeos and both McLarens are off at the final corner. What has gone on there? This is all going wrong for a lot of people. Denhire side by side with Yathan Penguru. Gobadi gets past Taisha, who's had one of the cleaner getaways here. Monza is a very weird one here for these opening couple of laps.
Yeah, it's been very, very...
I
was asking for a restart.
Fortunately, Liam has way too much of these issues where he disconnects and gets disqualified.
Darragh had one as well.
Yeah, as Lewis McWilliam leads by a second here in Monza. We would restart, but there's been other people that have been screwed over because of these, and unless really it is a mass disqualification, we can't really do anything about it, because we'd be here restarting every week as Virtual Safety Car comes out for Matthew Stotts, who becomes the first actual retirement of this one. This could well be upgraded to a full safety car, because been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. It happens practically every race where the first VSC is upgraded, but doesn't look like it will be this time. Your biggest gainer in the opening couple of laps, that is Timden Hire, who is up to 9th spot. But look, that was a chaotic opening couple of laps. I can't even really comprehend what's happened there.
Well, yeah, and I think Lewis, look at what this has left him with. The lead. I think Davies now will be forced to try and fight his way through the pack. And I suppose it wouldn't be a bad thing just to check on the points here. For the sake of it. McWilliam, he is still about 30 points off, but he could eradicate about 20 of those today if this stays the way it is.
Well, Lewis is going to be enjoying every moment of this, because as of now, he's getting 20 points in this Grand Prix over both Luke Davies and Dara Smith, as the virtual safety car is going to get ready to come in. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, though, could cause a bit of trouble here, because he is on better tyres. We go racing once again here in Monza, and that gap comes down to under 1 second again.
Yeah, that's the thing. Jurgensmeyer looks like he's got a bit of early pace here. Whether the medium stick with it or not is all of the story. Right, say for like to Jake Marsh, you'll be thinking, do I need to be passing you or not? It's a decision you've got to make.
What'd you say, sorry, Brendan?
No, it's just for like to Jake Marsh. If you wanted to get to Lewis Williams, you might have to pass. Or be a wait.
Yeah. Jake has survived the first couple of laps. Jake just needs to not make a Jake mistake, is the only way that I can describe this. He needs to get past Jurgensmeyer and just run a steady race. Because sometimes it can all go wrong very quickly for Jake Marsh. But he's been very good here this... Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Just as we say that sentence, Jake Marsh goes spinning, heading through Lesmo number 1. Oh my...
This is why you don't push pace.
Oh no. I can't believe what... Oh no. Jake has made that Jake mistake. He goes spinning to 8th position. This is why I should retire, because that is the ultimate commentator's curse.
Oh dear. Just one of them that...
Why, Jake? Why am I saying that? Oh no. Luke Davies is looking to try and get past Santiago Arujo, and the McLaren is looking to make the move, although he may not get a chance to, because that's Jordy Feenstra who's retired, and now the safety car has been brought out. Second retirement, that's Matthew Stotts and Jordy Feenstra out. Joining, of course, Liam Houseman and Dara Smith.
Yeah, and that's the full safety car, so it's a window back into the race for likes of Luke Davies, who may well be ending up off the podium for the first time this season. Like, it is going to be a difficult task to get back up there, especially now the likes of Vesta, who can be very, very quick, is now up around in positions along with Tyler Castilli. Even Aaron McFall, if he can keep up, well, he won't be getting a puncture this time, sure.
No, he won't. He'll be into the pit lane. As will Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine he'll be coming into the pit lane as well. This has been a weird one. This has really been an odd race, as Aaron's in the straight chat, so I'm taking he's going to be pitting. But there's just something about this race that tells me this isn't going to be a simple one for Lewis McWilliam. I don't know if I'm right. I'm usually not. But we'll have to wait and see. If Jurgensmeyer comes into the pits here, he's on a very good strategy to the end. I imagine he's going to be in. He is in, yeah, that's a great call from Jurgensmeyer. As Aaron McFall is in as well, Harrods to the end. They'll easily go. It's not a long race around Monza. Really, really isn't. Because it's such a fast lap. Tyre wear is not too bad. I'm very interested to know what happened with the two McLarens and the two Alfa Romeos. That was a really weird crash heading through the final corner. They were both round, as your only two pitters here, I think, is going to be Jonathan Jurgens and Aaron McFall, as Luke Davies is pushing to get ahead of the both of them. Luke Davies almost pushing Santiago through the corners. If I was Luke, I'd be hanging back just a little bit, just to be a bit careful, because the last thing he needs now is to break a wing.
Yeah, it's been a rough enough race so far. And what for Luke, Jurgens Martin would fall are going to be a problem in a way, because now that they're on the other, let's say, they're pretty much going to the end now. They will be. The chances of Luke making up enough time that he can pit and then either be ahead after the stop or be close enough that he can pass him after the stop, it's low. I know Jurgens Meyer and McFall were ahead anyways, but now there's an element to this that just almost sets it in stone. However, a bit of luck the other way might come. The safety cars of Monza, they can be a few at times.
There certainly can. There certainly can be a few safety cars, because it's a track that can cause crashes. Because I just read a comment from Aaron that says, "Not gonna lie, Brendan, I can guarantee I'll be out by lap 20." That's positive thinking from Mr. McFall, who says he'll be out by the 20th lap of this race, despite being on a very good strategy and driving pretty well here in the opening phases of this race. Can I just say another hats off to Adrian Teicher, who's in 4th position in this race, on pace.
Yep.
So he's kind of 6th on pace, because Aaron and Jonathan were ahead, but 4th on pace.
Okay, I'd say I am loving this Aaron confidence.
Yeah, and Thomas has just said to him, Thomas Main, of course, former driver with Mercedes and Ferrari and Constructors' Championship winner back all the way in Season 1, says, Aaron, you can win this now if there was no more safety cars, and Aaron simply giving a thumbs up. So, confidence is the key from Mr. McFall. As Aaron has also said, we love Canadian Jesus. So, Aaron's more confident in his rivals than he does in himself. Why do I have a feeling that come the... Oh! Pastilli's off into the gravel! Oh, that's a mistake. Oh, that's a mistake. He's back on just in front of Tim Denhire. That's a rookie mistake. That's a real rookie mistake from Tyler Pastilli.
Adrian Teicher is now on the podium.
And all of a sudden I want to be very biased and red flag this race. Not restarting. All of a sudden.
1991 Australian Grand Prix moments.
Hello, my name is suddenly Mr. Michael Massey. No, nevertheless. Well, Brendan, by the way, nice message from Kyle, who's just reminding us that Will Power did not make it out of Group 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's in IndyCar, of course. We're going to get back to racing action, though, here at Formula Virtual Racing. Big thanks to those who are still tuning into the stream. We do appreciate it. As Lewis McWilliam is going to get us going. Once again, he's done many of these safety car restarts before. As look at Kieran Spears trying to size up Adrian Teicher. When is Lewis going to go? Now we go racing once again here in Monza. Good restart from both of the Red Bulls, working in unison there as they're too wide. All the way down the straight, Jake Marsh looking to get past Kieran Spears and recover from his bit of a moment through Lesmo 2. Adrian actually attacking Avesta. Oh, contact between the two. Adrian Teicher's hit the back of the Mercedes, and it's all gone wrong here. There's a Haas round that's then higher round. Marsh up to 3rd. Crumpton is off in the runoff. Once again, turn 1 causes carnage. Luke Davies has got about 6 cars in that one. He's up to 7th. Pastilli hangs it around the outside. Maybe Davies has to give back those positions as he was off the circuit or something. As he's Santiago Arujo on his outside. Contact between the two. Pastilli goes off across the chicane. That's in a battle with Glennon, as it looks like Santiago's gone round in the background as well for Williams. He falls to the back with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. This is all kicking off here in Monza. Kieran Spears is up to 2nd. Lewis leads by 1.9 seconds. He's avoided every bit of chaos so far in this Grand Prix. He's going to continue to avoid it. Here comes Pastilli and Glennon. Wheel banging just like they were in the sprint race. Not a lot of mutual respect between these two, but the AlphaTauri's going to dive it up the inside, nevertheless into Ascari, and the Ferrari's just going to have to concede. Luke Davies is just behind this Ferrari now, who runs off the circuit. Davies trying to capitalise as Pistilli weaving all the way down the mini straight here before the Curva Alboreto. Is Davies going to dive it up the inside into the Parabolica? He is, and Glennon gives a wide berth. A lot of respect between these two compared to Glennon and Pistilli, and the Ferrari is going to be under pressure from Aaron McFall. Speaking of a Ferrari, there goes Jake Marsh past Kieran Spears, back up to second position. So Jake has recovered well. Jake, I once again almost commentator curse him, because Kieran Spears is now on the outside. Sam Crumpton has retired from the race, potentially bidding gone to his championship hopes. Speaking of championship hopes, this contact between Glennon and Davies by the looks of things, and Davies has gone across the chicane once again. Monza just doesn't like this boy, does it? And Luke Davies once again having trouble in the first corner. He now has Fidel Fabian all over the back of him, heading in towards the Varante della Roggia. This is a hectic race, and we're only on the 9th lap of it.
All of this, and Lewis McQuilliam up there, he is probably lucky enough, because I think I saw Crumpton go flying into turn 1. Actually, a full open lobby style flying.
Oh no. That's not good. I hope we didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, we might want to just check that one out, just to...
We'll have an investigation anyways by the post-race stewards. I don't know how, because he's been absolute dreadful this race weekend so far, and I'm not afraid to say that, but Vestago Badi is pressuring Kieran Spears for a podium here. He's tucked in behind the Williams as Kieran Spears running a lot of straight line speed, not even using his battery. That Williams is a bit of a rocket, but can it handle Vestago Badi, who's going to go to the inside, heading in towards the first couple of corners. Real late on the brakes, doesn't overshoot the corner. Kieran trying the up and under. Avesta's got it stopped, to be fair to him, and the Ukrainian is up onto the podium here in Monza, now hunting down Jake Marsh, as Aaron, in 8th position, still in a very good position if he wants to try and win this Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, that is very, very true. McFall could win the Grand Prix.
McFall is potentially in a race-winning position, but he's still commenting on the stream. I love Aaron. It's like a different level. Avesta has actually lost the spot to Kieran Spears, has he? Yes, he has. So I'm not sure what's gone on here, because he's now getting back past Kieran Spears. And he's ahead again. Weird one. Very weird one. This is like the Ghostbusters episode of Formula Virtual Racing. It's just very odd.
Yeah, everything's just going a little odd here today.
Attacking Den Hire, staying in the slipstream. That Haas holding on well in a straight line. Brakes late for the Parabolica. Jurgensmeyer going to try sneak it up the inside. Not going to get it done there, but will be able to utilise the slipstream. As that is Yathan Panguru into the pit lane. He is going to go for a set of hards to the end of this race. I did not even notice that he was on the mediums. So that's once again a great piece of commentary by me. Jurgensmeyer does get that spot on Tim Den Hire. Heading in towards turn 1, the Mercedes, once again breaks late, just like his teammate Gobadi. Den Hire bumped into the back, now gets a tap from Luke Davies. Luke is just a bit of a magnet today by the looks of things. I'm not sure that one was his own fault, as Den Hire did hit the back of the car in front. Davies now attacking to try and get the spot on Tim Den Hire. Any point is a crucial point at this point for Luke Davies.
Be careful though. He's been very careful here. I think he's... Remember, I'm running one thing, if tree like the on the back legs of a donkey. Wait, you do not want to trip over Tim Den Hire here when you have a championship to think about.
Yep, you don't, because Luke is already losing big points as it is. He doesn't want to lose more, and he's played it smartly, and he's got the run in towards the Ascari chicane, and he's up and through. Needs to manage that battery a bit better though, because that may come to haunt him in the late stages of this one. Morris Strumer picking up a 3-second time penalty. That's another thing. Luke cannot afford a penalty now, because even if there is potentially a late safety car that allows him back into this one, he needs every chance he can get. Pastilhi and Taisha, Canada, side by side down the main straight. I think the AlphaTauri may come out on top on this one, because it does have the DRS available to it, and that is going to be Tyler Pastilhi up and through. The Canadians running 5th and 6th. what a result this would be from Adrian Teicher if he could stay here. Adrian has been really good in recent weeks. The result may not show it, but Adrian has been excellent. Next target for our championship leader is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer for 9th spot. And once again, Luke cannot afford to trip over Jonathan, because Jonathan has already made his mandatory pit stop and Luke has not, which is another issue here. But he does have to remember, a lot of these cars in front of him also haven't made their mandatory pit stops. The top 6 have not. Aaron and Jonathan and Morris Strumer have, but they'll be on older tyres coming in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, the thing is, Luke can't really get stuck behind here though, because then he can't get to the others.
Aaron's just commented on the stream, Lewis, please spin. Aaron is in his own world in this one, as there is Adrian Teicher. Oh no. Oh no, it's Adrian off in the grass and the gravel. And a fan favourite goes spinning out of the points. Just when I said I was hoping Adrian can keep this good result. Evan, please stop commenting on drivers. It's not working out for Adrian. After a good sprint race result, that will knock his confidence down a peg potentially, as Santiago is up the inside now of the Canadian. Adrian gives it a wide berth as Kieran Spears actually gets past the Vestago Badi, returns the favour into the first corner, and these two in a Loctite battle. Jake Marsh has gone miles up the road because of these two scrapping, but Kieran Spears is ahead. Is Gobadi able to get past through the Curva Grande? Kieran, just runs him out nice and wide. Avesta has to utilise all of the racing surface and is going to dive down the inside here into the Volante della Roggia. Cuts the inside of it to make sure they both get through the corner. That's good racing between the pair, I have to say. Both left the perfect amount of space through a corner where you can't really go too wide. Good racing from Spears and Gobadi. Gobadi will certainly have another go, maybe into turn 1 on the next lap. Almost halfway through this Grand Prix, we still are yet to see a few mandatory pit stops, as here comes Vesta Gobadi up the inside into the Ascari chicane. They love going side by side in unconventional points of the circuit. Spears has to run wide, and now Bastilli invites himself into this battle. Tyler Bastilli seems to lose time in every single corner and somehow be on the back of every single battle.
Yeah, it's just Tyler Bastilli has a different way of doing things. It seems in the same way as Aaron McFall.
And Bastilli does have a different way of doing things. That's not the way you do the final corner, though. He's gone spinning round, and he ends up behind Morris Strumer. He ends up behind Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. May end up behind Timden Higher by the time this is all done. This is awful, unfortunate for Tyler Bastilli, but he made the mistake himself, as that is Jurgensmeyer back past Luke Davies. Davies. Huge wobble there. That's not normal. Potentially a lockup maybe for Luke, although I'm pretty sure he uses ABS. Nevertheless, here comes Kieran Spears up the inside of Avesta Gobadi. No, he doesn't use ABS actually, so it could have been a lockup. As Avesta Gobadi trying the up and under. Taishi gets past Glennon in the background. May actually been a spin for the Ferrari. Here we go, side by side into Lesmo number 1. Gobadi and Spears are having a titanic battle for this podium, and I think everyone at home is thoroughly enjoying it.
Spears has the DRS. However, in a way, this is nearly is it down to hell? But actually is. He's only catching, but just not by enough.
This is very interesting, the battle for the podium. Lewis and Jake are gone clear at the top. Speaking of Luke, he is still 0.3 of a second behind Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. This is the problem with Luke. He's now catching drivers who can keep with him. He's not able to just dispatch them and get on, unlike maybe Lewis McWilliam did in Austria, where he genuinely had a pace advantage on the entire field, and it is easier to keep a spot in Austria than it is here. You can defend. And Gobadi is going to try and defend Kieran Spears once again into 1. Gobadi just runs a bit deep, but it's worked out okay for him because he's able to block Spears on exit. Here comes Luke Davies trying to get past Jonathan Jurgensmeyer into 1. The Mercedes hangs it, and just like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, he gets ran over that sausage curb. Luke Davies is able to keep the spot for now, is he? Jurgensmeyer going to try and run it around the outside of the Curva Grande. The Mercedes, is he able to tuck into the slipstream? Not quite, and the McLaren is going to keep the spot. Here comes Bastilli back into this battle, as Bastilli is going to run way wide through here. I think that could be Luke Davies confirmed to keep this position now, because if he can just gain a couple tenths of a second, he will be able to drop Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and finally have just a moment even to think.
Yeah, I don't think he's had much time to think this race. He's had to be doing a lot. trying to recover, do pretty much everything you don't really want to be doing in a race, which is just trying to pick yourself back up. But now it's just to settle, find the rhythm you were planning to have, and then see what goes on. This is Morris to be up next. He has a penalty, so you want to just get within, well, you're within that gap. You just maybe get up a bit closer and just make your life easier.
Strategy is going to be very interesting here. I hope and I pray that Aaron McFall has been managing these hard tyres, because there is a genuine, unbelievable opportunity for him to win here in Monza. Pistilli gets the spot on Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer just suffering a little bit, but the thing about Jonathan is he can let these go because he's in the same boat as Aaron McFall. Just got to manage the tyres and he may be in for a good position. That's a yellow flag. It's through the final corner. That's Santiago who's gone round. Unfortunate there. He's at the foot of the field. But Aaron has good pace. He's made his mandatory pit stop. And he could be in a very good position to win here in Monza. It would be unbelievable if he could do it, as it would be what I believe is his third FVR career victory. Could have won in France. Could he maybe win here in Monza? As it would be a great result for Alpine as well. It'd be a really good result for Alpine. Kieran Spears dives into the pit lane. We're going to start seeing some pit stops soon. I think that everybody is waiting for the softs potentially at the end of this one.
Yeah, that might be a game plan to maybe counteract the fact McFall and Jurgensmeyer are going to the end. Because actually, that's someone off. That is Araujo off.
Yeah, Santiago's not had a great race, and he's running the risk of going a lap down. There's another yellow flag. That's Santiago gone again, and I think he's just... Well, he probably shouldn't be applying the ERS when trying to get going in 5th gear. That's my advice, but unfortunate as... Oh, that's a Vestago baddie losing time, and there's someone lost time in the background. No, that yellow flag was just for Avesta, so Avesta falls to 4th behind Aaron McFall. Oh, Avesta! Oh, good catch. Really good catch. That is great driving from Avesta to catch that one. That car could have been gone very, very easily. As Santiago does wave blue flags and lets our race leader through. Lewis, though, is going to come out not too far behind Aaron McFall as he dives in. This is a crucial pit stop for the Red Bull. Doesn't speed in the pit lane, so he won't be getting horrid flashbacks to Paul Ricard. What tyres does the Scotsman go for? It's the medium tyres that Lewis McWilliam goes for. We saw Aaron McFall do just short of 9 laps in the sprint, but he did have a spin included. But Lewis feels more comfortable to go for the mediums. Where does he come out in relation to those who've already pit? He's going to be ahead of Jonathan Jurgens, or is he going to be ahead of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer? Here comes the Mercedes, trying it around the outside of the Red Bull Racing, but Lewis doesn't have his tyres up to temperature, but he's going to keep it down the inside. Oh, this is risky from the Red Bull. Does this give you flashbacks, ladies and gentlemen? Because Lewis McWilliam is trying to get past the Mercedes just as he's come out of the pit lane. It was vice versa when it was Verstappen Hamilton. Jurgensmeyer McWilliam, potentially the more experienced too. McWilliam trying it around the outside. He's got it done. Jurgensmeyer just going to have to sit behind Lewis. I have to say he's got his tyres up to temperature very quickly. He's a bit slidey through there. Not going to work out as Jurgensmeyer just going to have to sit behind for now. This makes things really interesting here. Lewis is on a manhunt to catch Aaron McFall and Maurice Strumer.
He has to catch 10 seconds to McFall. And, well, Strumer, he has also made a stop. That will take a little time off, so McFall will have someone who can potentially be a little bit of a roadblock before McWilliam can start really honing in on McFall. And you just see Marsh is now in. That leaves McFall in the lead.
It's Maurice Strumer, by the way, not Strumer. I apologise, I've been getting it wrong. I just double-checked it. Aaron is still commenting on the stream and saying his left rear is 40%. That's okay. He can get that to the end because he's done 13 laps. Jake Marsh has got to come out behind Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, but Jake gets a bit of clean air, so Jake is all good. Where's Davies going to come out? Got to come out behind Glennon, or is he going to come out in front of Bastilli? Could be under pressure here with Bastilli. There is Davies on the right hand side in that Papaya Orange McLaren. Here comes Bastilli, breaks later. Davies can break late. Oh, Bastilli sold him and sent him to the shops. Bastilli gets the job done on Luke Davies. And that is a real good piece of driving. He gets past the man on the colder mediums, but Luke is still going to get points, I think, if he can just drive clean to the end, because we still are awaiting some pit stops. Avesta Bardi 1.
A waving from Luke.
As it is Glennon as well, who has another one.
Yeah, say though. Yeah, well, Glennon has to pit. But looking at that, I think the situation will be that Gobadi will pit, but Gobadi will come out ahead of Davies. So 1 point it seems like at the moment for Davies.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's come out way in front of Luke. As Lewis sets the fast lap. Avesta goes for softs as well, so Avesta could take a fastest lap point here if someone at the back doesn't take it off him. The gap between Lewis and Morris is 1.2. The gap between Morris and Aaron is 5.9 seconds. This is going to be a really good end to this race. An excellent end. We all remember the last time Lewis was hunting down Aaron for a race win. We had the closest race finish ever in Formula Virtual Racing. That was due to a piece of genius from Aaron McFall once again, where he decided, I'm going to slow down before the line and get a photo with you. Lewis, who was trying to beat one of the greatest drivers we've ever had here, Grace DeLee, in a championship, said, no, I'll take the points instead. And Lewis McWilliam dispatches Morris Stumer pretty easily. The manhunt is on, 6.2 seconds. Old hards versus mediums. The man hunting down for a championship is trying to hunt down 20 Formula Virtual Racing points.
I think it'd be very interesting now to see how's Morris going to hold on here. Because the weird situation is Jurgensmeyer doesn't have the penalties on the same strategy. However, he's got to make up the time despite not really having the tyre advantage. While Marsh, who has the tyre advantage, also has a penalty.
Aaron, stop commenting on the stream. Drive the race. He just said, don't talk about Australia. This could be another Australia if Aaron doesn't get his head down, because Lewis is catching him very, very quickly. Jake is attacking Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Jake is looking on course for a decent result here, but does have a penalty. Saka comes to hunt Jake Marsh. Luke is in 10th, so picking up only a solitary point for now. Of course, he will have his FVR sprint points, where he did get 3rd, but still, Lewis did outscore him in the sprint as well. 4.7 the gap between Lewis and Aaron. Oh, I think Lewis is going to have this one pretty easily, because there's still a good few laps left in this one. Aaron needs to just try and be as consistent as possible to the end of this race. In the middle sector, Lewis is... Oh, I didn't get his delta. Oh, that's unfortunate. It didn't show up on the screen. Here comes Jake Marsh past Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Easy stuff for the fresh mediums. The fresh mediums are way clearer than the old hards, and we could see Aaron, Morris and Jonathan just run down the field. Well, not if Jake does that anymore, because that will invite Jonathan back into proceedings. 4 seconds now, the gap between Aaron and Lewis. Lewis has got almost 2 seconds just on this lap alone. I fear Aaron may be a sitting duck in this one. Actually, I say that. It's one thing to catch Aaron McFall. It is a complete other thing to try and get past him, as Morris into the pit lane. Obviously feels he's not going to make the end.
Well, that signals the red flags for Jurgensmeyer and McFall. Although
he did have 2 lap older tyres, to be fair to him.
Yes, however, this is probably going to mean they're going to be into risky territory. However, it's now a question of when does the optimum grip fall out of McWilliams tyres and then fall down to more regular grip.
Not yet anyways. He'll have these for another few laps in optimal conditions. He's not catching as much on this lap, but the gap has come under 3 seconds. It's 2.9. He now has a visual on the Alpine. Quite crucially here though, Aaron's going to get pick up DRS from Santiago fairly soon. That'll give him an extra run down the straight. In terms of battery, Aaron has a lot more, so he might be able to defend from the Scotsman. Lewis is doing everything he can to try and catch, but I just fear we've too much laps left here. If Lewis makes no mistakes to the end, surely it's going to be too much for Aaron to handle, because on to lap 23 we've 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, that's 5 laps. If Lewis keeps up this pace, he'll be home and dry, having a nice cup of tea and a biscuit by the time Aaron is able to finish here, because he's much quicker than the Irishman. But as we said, can Aaron defend for his life here? He needs to try if he wants to win here in FVR. I don't know how much Aaron wants to win, but if he wants to win by as much as anyone or other drivers want to win by, then he'll defend for his life. Avesta, late braking move on Spears. Spears tries the up and under once again, but just doesn't have the turn in, and Avesta gets the car somehow out, and Avesta's up to 5th. Unfortunately for Kieran, I think Avesta will get this one because he's on much better tyres. Lewis almost has DRS on Aaron. He's going to have 4 laps to try and pass the Alpine.
Yeah. However, 4 laps to try past Aaron McFall isn't really much these days.
I just think it's too much.
Yeah, but look at that ERS stuff. That is serious amount of ERS to burn.
Santiago runs wide, meaning Lewis, I don't think he's going to get DRS on this lap. That could be crucial. Aaron is not really using his battery, so he is Aaron is preparing for a dogfight here. I can tell by him. He's preparing, I should say, for a dogfight. Has Lewis got the DRS? It should open fairly soon. He's not, but he's certainly in it now. 8/10 of a second separate. Lewis has made 6 seconds look like a couple of tenths here in Monza, but Lewis will now pick up some dirty air through the corners. Maybe we are too hopeful of an Aaron McFall win here, and maybe Lewis McWilliams just going to show his class. Little slide on exit though, so the Red Bull looking a bit uneasy, but I still think he might just have too much for Aaron. Not going to get the job done maybe on this lap, so we have 3 laps potentially to pass him, unless Lewis gets a good run in towards the Ascari chicane, which he well could do. These fresh mediums are just too much maybe for Aaron McFall on his old hards. Aaron's going to be feeling the pain of those now. He just doesn't have the grip. Aaron needs to burn his ERS. Aaron is burning his ERS. He's looking to defend. The Scotsman's going to try the outside heading into the Ascari chicane. It's oh so close between the two, but Lewis McWilliam is going to get past him the first time of asking, and we did just ask too much of Aaron McFall. Lewis McWilliam is going to... Oh, Aaron.
Oh, no, it's gone.
Oh, Aaron, it's all gone. Whoa, that was cool. That was a very nice save from Aaron McFall, and that little catch may just save him second position here in this Grand Prix. The rally skills on show. He's running the number 42, of course, to commemorate, unfortunately, the tragic loss of Craig Breen. I think Craig will be very, very proud of Aaron for that little catch. Kieran Spears looking to attack Avesta Gobadi. 6/10 of a second is the gap, but I think Avesta Softs will just have a little bit too much. The gap between Jake and Aaron is now 1.8 seconds. Lewis already has 5.2 seconds. He's won the Italian Grand Prix, if I can tell you that now. Nothing's going to take this one off Lewis. He's going to take 3 race wins in a row.
Well, the good news for Luke here, actually, is he's up to 8. So there is a few more points on the board.
It is more points on the board for Luke, and he may get another few spots from post-race penalties. I don't know what's happened where, because of course we can only keep an eye on a couple of drivers at a time, but there might be some reports, as it's been a fairly messy race. There's Jake. He's looking to put the pressure on Aaron McFall. He does have a penalty though, so if Aaron could just stay ahead for another couple of corners, just try stay ahead for as much as possible and not let Jake pull 3 seconds. The only reason Jake is this close is because of that little bit of a spin from Aaron. The only reason Aaron is still ahead is because of that wonderful catch, so it's kind of evens out, as there is another lapped car in front of Aaron McFall, who he couldn't make at DRS. That's Santiago once again. Is Jake close enough for a dive in towards the first corner, or is he just going to bide his time? He's going to go for this one. Late on the brakes goes Jake Marsh. There's contact between the two. Aaron stays in front, really late on the brakes from Jake Marsh. Push to pass, and the Ferrari is up and through to second position here at home.
Oh,
That was slightly
now he's
dodgy.
got to- yeah.
Is
the
Aaron,
problem
Aaron's
is
going to
with
go back
false-
down the inside. Aaron's going to return the favour, and Aaron has got that one somehow stopped. 20 lap all hards is not going to stop the Irishman from trying a move like that. He's up and past. Jake knows that, yeah, I probably deserve that one. And Aaron is up and through into second position once again. This is really going to help him, because even if Jake flies past now, he does have a penalty that he is going to... Oh, Aaron, just be careful not to eat too much. He's still on course for a podium. That's a yellow flag. That's Morris who's gone round, unfortunately. Aaron needs to just be careful through the tricky traction zones, unless Jake can get this penalty removed, which is, of course, a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. Lewis is going to win this race by 10 seconds, which is unbelievable considering we considered him to finish second just a few laps ago. The Scotsman is by far the best driver pace-wise this season, and has Luke just been way more consistent. Luke was due a bad race. He will not beat the record for most consecutive podiums. He equalled it with 5, but he's not going to beat it with 6, and it seems like anyone who gets close to beating it just cannot do it. Jack Redmond couldn't do it all those years ago. Luke is not going to be able to do it this time. Can Jake Marsh get one more position on this podium though? He's not as close as he was on the last lap. Well, he was ahead on the last lap, but he's not close enough for a move. Maybe he's settled for third. I can't imagine he has. I definitely imagine he'll have a go into the Ascari chicane. But Aaron just staying ahead for now. Lewis has got that gap up to 10 seconds. Is Jake able to launch an attack? Definitely. The thing here is, Aaron's ERS being saved for the battle with Lewis has helped him with the battle for Jake. He's now under 10% now, but I think everyone in this race is under 10% now, as Jake, getting really close to the Alpine. This is going to be a dive into the final corner, if it is anything, but we just have to cut to the front really quickly, because rounding the final corner, 3 of the best. He really has made them pay here, as Lewis McWilliam wins the sprint, wins the main Grand Prix here in Italy. An excellent performance from the Scotsman, who looked like it may not be his day. Here comes Jake, drag race to the line. Is the Ferrari got enough straight line speed to beat Aaron? No, he does not. Aaron gets second here in Monza, a result to be proud of for the Irishman. Mercedes come home 4th and 5th here to show their Italian colleagues. Kieran Spears comes home in 6th. Tyler Pistilli comes home in 7th. Luke Davies, he's not going to be happy with that one. He really isn't. Coming home in 8th. Morris Stumer, I should say, is going to come home in 9th. And then Tim Denhire is going to get a point in 10th position. Excellent stuff from Tim Denhire. Yathan Panguru comes home in 11th, and then unfortunately for Adrian Teiche, he couldn't quite recover, and he'll come home in 12th. Fidel Fabian will come home in 13th. Glennon is having a fastest lap attempt. This would be one last celebration from the Tifosi if Glennon was able to get the fastest lap point. The Tifosi may celebrate this one more than the race win, as it's the last car to complete the race. A fastest lap would be something else, but we had a few people driving very quickly on the softs. I'm not sure if the fast lap actually went. I think it could have been a Vesta on those softs, but here comes Glennon to the start finish line. Will it be the fastest lap? No, it won't, unfortunately. But we are going to see Red Bull Racing and Lewis McWilliam stand tall on the Monza podium. Just a FIFA commentary moment. Yes, it was.
Yep. I think that was fairly obvious to most people.
Yeah, I wasn't creative, and I just copied someone. Apologies.
Oh well. Something everyone gets, and usually don't have to explain the joke, so sometimes that's nearly the worst part. If you have to explain the joke, it kind of messes with the whole thing.
Here comes Lewis McWilliam, man, on the podium anyways for a 3rd consecutive time, and a 2nd time today. As once again, please can we stop grilling on the podium? Nobody likes it. As Lewis lifts the trophy in front of the Ferrari crowd. I'm a bit worried how Aaron already has a screen recording of a moment in the race, meaning he did it during the race. You know, how has Aaron finished second while talking to us the whole race is beyond me. But nevertheless, your full results for this evening's Grand Prix. Lewis McWilliam wins, followed by Aaron McFall in 2nd, Jake Marsh in 3rd, then it is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Vesta Gobadi, Kieran Spears, Tyler Pistilli, Luke Davies, Morris Stumer, Tim Denhire. It's then Your non-point scorers, Yathan Penguru, Adrian Taisha, Fidel Fabian, and Craig Glennon, and Santiago Araujo. And your non-finishers were Sam Crumpton, Jordy Feenstra, Matthew Stotts, Dara Smith, and Liam Houseman. We're going to try and get at least Lewis in, or maybe some of the top three in, for a post-race interview. Oh, Jake can finally get his post-race interview. But Brendan, what's your thoughts on that one? Actually, hold on, we haven't did this in a few weeks. Who wins the Mean One Safety Award?
Well, I'll give it to Lewis because he quite literally avoided every single bit of chaos.
He did, to be fair.
I think, oh yeah, just as we're finished FVR, I believe they've thrown a red in Indy. So,
oh, you beauty!
Yeah, they've thrown a red in Indy for second quality. Awards top to the second round.
Guys, I completely regret doing interviews, by the way, now. You're very lucky. I definitely regret doing this. Let's bring the man who finished third for Ferrari, Jake Marsh, into the commentary box. Jake, you've waited a long time for this one. It's finally a podium interview, and it's come at home for the Scuderia Ferrari. A messy race, which included a bit of everything from you, including a commentator's curse from me. But talk us through it. How did that one go for you?
Can you hear me, first of all?
We can hear you, yes.
Good, right. I mean, let's just forget about the race. I don't want to talk about that. Not a good race, but...
It's kind of why you're here, is to talk about the race, Jake.
No, it's a sort of race where I felt after the sprint race that I was the fastest car on the track. And then into the feature, Lewis had 2 or 3 tenths a lap on me. And I don't really know where he got that from, which is annoying. But yeah, started off kind of all right. A bit of a mess into turn 1. I'm not really sure what happened on lap 1. I think Luke ended up spinning or something, so I hope I wasn't at fault for that. Then...
just to clarify, Luke was hit by an Aston Martin.
Oh, right, okay. Good, because I didn't really know what happened there. And then, the Mercedes was really fast at the start, so I sort of let him go. I hope he'd fight Lewis. And then I was kind of getting into a nice rhythm, lost my focus, had a little spin, which was lovely. That was probably a commentator's curse or something. And then...
If you want to know exactly what happened, I said, Jake needs to not do a Jake mistake and just have a steady stint.
Yeah.
And you spun just as I ended my sentence.
Stop saying these things, Evan. I don't know where the spin came from. There must be some kind of connection.
Some voodoo, anyways, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then I just had the best luck for 5 laps, basically, because after that spin, I could easily have been down in P10, having to scrap through everyone in the pack, breaking my wing, and, not having a chance of getting a podium. But, the safety car came at the perfect time when people boxed and got out of the way, and then the AlphaTauri, he spun under the safety car or something, and then I had a good restart, and Avesta and Buddies took each other out, which was, so fortunate. And then kind of got 3 seconds behind Lewis. I used on my ERS, sort of passing them, which might have been where the pace differential came, but I just wasn't driving very well. But, Aaron did a fantastic drive, by the way. I thought I was guaranteed P2 pretty much, and then he, out of nowhere, does about 800 laps on the hards, which is fantastic. And really, once I got the penalty, I pretty much stopped pushing. I thought I'd have a go at getting Aaron just in case he got 3 seconds or something at the end, but I went for a silly dive bomb down the inside, realised that it wasn't worth risking a podium to try and get an extra 2 points, whatever it is. And yeah, ended up finishing P3.
Well, Jake, I don't know if you're in a championship fight. Actually, I do. You're not. But
Thank you.
In terms of the championship, that does bump you up a good few positions. What's the goal for the end of the season now? Is it literally just a race by race thing, or is there any long-term goal?
I'm not going to be satisfied until I'm the fastest car and I win a race as the fastest car. But I've been waiting on that for about 8 seasons in this league, so who knows when it could happen. But certainly
only 4, to be fair.
Yeah, well,
only 4.
So long.
Brendan,
But
any questions?
I don't know. Maybe I'll try and help the Ferrari and the constructors and see where I can come. But I'm not in a championship fight, so.
Yeah, Jake, actually, I have to say, if you haven't had a bad race, usually your points have been fairly consistent. Do you think maybe, I don't know if maybe some of the local went your way this season, you might have been up there with, Luke, Dara, and Lewis?
I certainly think I can match them on pace, maybe not on consistency. Like Monaco, I I still don't understand how it wasn't on the podium that day. But like Portugal, I was miles off the pace. France, I was nowhere. Austria again. So on my day, if I practice, then I think I could be a good championship challenger. But that hasn't been the case enough this season. So it's tough to say.
Well, Jake, congratulations. We finally got to talk to you after a race. It's nice to hear a new voice in the commentary box. We're going to let you go enjoy your evening. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're going to hear from Lewis McWilliam now. We will bring him in. Hopefully everything works this week, as sometimes it doesn't. Lewis, hello, can you hear us?
Yep, hello.
So, Lewis, well, pole position, a sprint race win, and a race win when your title rivals scored a combined, 3 points. Does it get better than that?
No, it doesn't. I'm very happy. Everything that could have gone right went right with my own race, and also in terms of what's right for me in Luke's race, and everything went wrong for him, which is right for me, I suppose.
Well, you are certainly back in the championship fight, way more than back in the championship fight, almost in the championship lead at this point. A very good race for you. Next week we head to what is technically your home Grand Prix in Silverstone. Wasn't a great race for you there last season, but are you looking to take a 4th win in the row in Silverstone?
As long as it's dry, I can be the quickest person out there. If it's wet, then might be more of an issue, but if it's dry, then I'm definitely going to be able to be the quickest person there and have the most chance of winning.
And, sorry, Brendan, any questions?
Yeah. Lewis, I remember you saying earlier that you didn't really like Monza that much, but what happened, let's say, to all of a sudden now you're the quickest car, comfortable, easy race win top?
I mean, there's some tracks like what is it, Austria? Probably just these 3 tracks: Monza, Austria, and Britain. Where in qualifying and in time trial and stuff, they're a bit sketchy. Maybe the traction's not really there. Quite difficult to get good laps in for me, because what I like is a track like France or Kota, where you can just really just push track limits and be off basically the racetrack and go just from outside line to outside line. But with these tracks, there's grass there, so it's quite difficult. But then when it comes to the race trim, it just becomes a whole lot easier for me, I guess, to get into a rhythm, whereas with the qualifying it's quite difficult to find a limit and then obviously push to that limit. So just in the races, I suppose I just had better race pace than I expected, and I'm hoping that's going to be the same next week as well. It was the same in Austria.
Well,
that's right.
Lewis,
That
you're on an unbelievable run of form, and you are by far the quickest driver on pace this evening anyways. So congratulations once again on a 3rd race win. The perfect weekend for Lewis, and a great weekend overall in Formula Virtual Racing. That is all we do have time for, ladies and gentlemen, here this evening. Do hope you thoroughly enjoyed that one, because it may have been slightly messy, but messy is the greatest. So thank you very much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.